Did you ever wonder what would happen if these characters had devil fruits? Which one would be the best fit for them? And how strong would they be afterward? Well, after going through more than 100 different devil fruits, I found the perfect ones. And where better to start than with legendary pirate king, Gol D. Roger. Roger was known to be an unstoppable force with his ridiculously powerful haki, and from what we can tell, he has seemingly never lost a battle before. So if Roger was already this strong, did you ever wonder what would happen if he ever ate a devil fruit? If we want to theorize what could happen in this scenario, we first need to figure out which devil fruit would be best suited for him. Instead of mentioning just one, let's take a look at two, starting with none other than the one his son ate, the Meta Meta no Mi. Besides the regular Logia abilities this fruit grants the user, I think Roger would find other unique ways to use it. For example, the Meta Meta no Mi could work so well in combination with his legendary sword Ace, possibly allowing him to carry out fiery long-range attacks on opponents before they even come close to him. It would also allow him to travel faster, and he could even engage his opponents at lightning speeds using the flames as a type of engine launch pad for his feet. Okay, I know this looks ridiculous, but it's Roger we're talking about here. It's not really hard to imagine that he'd try something like this. The other devil fruit I wanted to talk about is Gomu Gomu no Mi, or as it's secretly known, Hito Hito no Mi, Moro Nika. This mythical Zoan devil fruit is the biggest threat to the world government and a legendary fruit linked to Joy Boy. So why would this fruit be the best choice for Roger? Well, throughout the series it was shown multiple times that Roger and Luffy share a lot of similar traits, from their laid-back personality to straight up saying the same things and even their mutual love for hitting the subscribe button. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you should definitely click it. Thanks. Anyway, it's only natural that they also have the same devil fruit. Roger would certainly unlock the awakening of the fruit during his adventures, the same as Luffy did, which means that he'd have not only the rubber abilities, but also the reality warping potential of its awakened form. By the way, I just made a sun god drawing of Roger for this video, and you have to admit, he looks so cool. So, after reviewing both fruits, which would be the better choice for Roger? In my opinion, it's definitely the Gomu Gomu no Mi, due to its ties to Luffy and Joy Boy, but Flaming Roger would be sick too. Roronoa Zoro. Zoro, the vice captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, is a master swordsman who will stop at nothing to achieve his dream of becoming the strongest swordsman in the world. His unique fighting style consists of wielding 3 katanas simultaneously and is known as the 3-sword style. So the ideal fruit for Zoro would probably work around this fighting style in some way and enhance it. At first glance, the obvious choice would be Mr. One's fruit, Supa Supa no Mi, which allows users to convert body parts into blades. This could work really well for Zoro in some cases. For example, when he's completely missing his swords or needs one more to complete his stance. However, the downside to this fruit is that these swords would be much weaker than his usual swords like Enma or Shusui, and therefore would greatly limit his abilities. Other than this one, we could consider some Logia type fruits for Zoro, since those would help increase his overall abilities, but let's make it a bit more interesting and give him a fruit that most of you have never even heard of. This fruit is currently unnamed, but it's wielded by the Marine Vice Admiral Onigumo. This devil fruit seemingly is some kind of spider zoan and allows its user to have 6 extra arms appear from their back. This fruit would be perfect for Zoro, as he'd be able to hold 9 blades at the same time. Just imagine all the extra techniques he could come up with. Now, some of you may say that Zoro can already use 9-sword style while utilizing Ashura, but the difference here is that he wouldn't drain so much energy each time he activates it. Another advantage would be that Zoro could find even more legendary swords throughout the One Piece world and use them all at the same time. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think we'll ever find a more fitting fruit for Zoro. There's still 6 interesting characters left to cover, and the next one is Zoro's biggest obstacle, Dracul Mihawk. Mihawk is the world's strongest swordsman and is actually the first warlord that we were introduced to in the series. His main weapon is a gigantic sword named Yoru, and based on the little fighting we've seen from him, he seems to be easily an Emperor-level fighter. Mihawk is clearly inspired by the legendary vampire Dracula, with his own name being Dracul, and his overall design being very horror-inspired. This is exactly why I think Kage Kage no Mi, Moria's devil fruit, would suit him pretty well. There's another perfect fruit for Mihawk in the series, but let's go one at a time. With Kage Kage no Mi, Mihawk could collect the shadows of all people he takes down. Now, since Mihawk is already insanely powerful, he wouldn't really need an army of shadows to defend him. He would instead collect them as trophies and to punish people who are stupid enough to challenge him. This would also play well into the idea of vampirism, with Mihawk's opponents evaporated by sunlight when they lost a duel. Okay, this fruit is literally made for Mihawk, but what if I tell you that another fruit may suit him even better? Bato Bato no Mi, Model Vampire. You probably think I'm making this fruit up, but it actually exists in the One Piece universe, specifically in the video game, Unlimited World Red. The fruit literally transforms the user into a vampire and gives them the ability to teleport and suck the life force from others. Since the Bato Bato no Mi is not canon, I won't spend any more time talking about it. But it's surely my final pick for Mihawk, as it's undeniably the one that suits him the best. Kozuki Oden. Odin, the legendary son of Wano, managed to become one of the most powerful men alive due to his exceptional swordsmanship and Haki control. The first devil fruit I picked for him may seem a bit weird to some of you, but it's actually the Goro Goro no Mi, Enel's devil fruit, that allows its user to manipulate and even transform into lightning themselves. So the reason I'd give this fruit to Odin is because I believe he's already strong enough offensively, and with the fruit's Logia properties, he would become invincible. He would also be able to move at lightning speeds and slash his opponents without them even noticing unless they have advanced observation Haki developed. The only way Odin could lose a battle with this fruit is if the enemy he's fighting is for some reason immune to lightning, like Luffy was in his battle against Enel. That said, the more fitting devil fruit for Odin thematically would be the Ino Ino no Mi, model Okuchi no Makami. This mythical Zoan fruit would allow him to transform into the Guardian of Wano, an ancient wolf deity. This is thematically fitting, considering Odin's royal bloodline and love for his nation, but also goes well with his fighting style, as Zoan fruit would grant him enhanced strength and speed without limiting him in any way. The ability to use ice attacks would be a cherry on top, but honestly, I don't see Odin using it that much, as he'd probably like to retain his samurai fighting style. So which of these two fruits would be better suited for Odin? Well, since we're trying to make characters as strong as possible by giving them devil fruits, I think Enel's fruit is a better choice, as it's considered one of the invincible fruits in the world. With half of the characters covered, we're finally ready to talk about the one and only red-haired Shanks. Shanks is arguably the strongest emperor currently in the series. Although we have really limited information about him, we know that he has mastery of all forms of Haki, especially Conquerors, the most powerful one. What's interesting about the Red Hair Pirates is that they're the only known crew in the series in which not a single member has devil fruit abilities. So what if their already insanely overpowered captain had one? Which one would it be? Okay, let's start by pairing him with one of the devil fruits his fellow emperor has, Blackbeard's Yummy Yummy no Mi. This Logia type devil fruit would grant him the power of darkness, essentially allowing him to nullify other devil fruit powers and absorb things around him like a black hole. If you're wondering why I'm giving Shanks this specific devil fruit, there's a simple reason for that. Shanks is primarily a Haki-based fighter, relying on his powerful Conqueror's Haki burst to completely paralyze his opponents. Imagine a man like that, also having the power to nullify other people's fruits. He'd be unstoppable. It's also possible that Shanks could use this fruit to send smaller black holes to suck in his opponent's weapons and equipment. Even the likes of the Admirals would stand no chance against him, as their strong Logia devil fruits would be pretty much useless, and they'd have to fight him using only Haki. And let's just say that wouldn't go very well for them. Another devil fruit that would suit Shanks perfectly is Magu Magu no Mi, also belonging to one of his adversaries, the Marine Fleet Admiral Akainu. This devil fruit was stated by Oda, the creator of One Piece, to be the one with the highest defensive capabilities in the world. It allows the user to turn into and control the boiling hot magma, which would also look pretty cool with Shanks' red hair and overall appearance. Of course, just looking good will unfortunately not cut it for this video, so let's see what it would bring to the table in terms of combat. During the Marineford arc, we were shown that Akainu can use this devil fruit to shoot the magma out of his hands. It's similar to the volcano erupting. Based on this, it's only natural that Shanks could do it too, most likely firing a big burst off of magma when he swings his sword. Like with other Logia devil fruits, it would make him much faster and harder to hit, and he could just turn into magma and disappear in seconds. Another advantage of this fruit is its simplicity. Shanks doesn't need to fly or turn into some kind of monster to be strong. He just needs a strong offensive devil fruit that won't get in his way while in combat. And that's why I'm picking Magu Magu no Mi as the best suited devil fruit for Shanks. Monkey D. Garp. Garp is an absolute powerhouse and one of the strongest Marines to ever live. He has incredible physical strength and mastery of Haki, which we recently saw in the manga when he completely destroyed a part of the island with a single punch. The important thing to mention is that Garp is not relying on any weapons to help him in battle. He only uses his bare fists. Therefore, we need to find a fruit that suits that fighting style best. Again, two devil fruits come to mind, and the first one is none other than Gura Gura no Mi. The powerful quakes produced by this fruit, along with Garp's punches, would surely bring his strength to the next level. You may not agree with me on this, but I think this fruit is way more suited for Garp than it ever was for Whitebeard. Just think about it. This fruit can only be activated with the user's hands, meaning that when Whitebeard is in the middle of the battle and is holding his weapon, he can't really use it to its full potential. Now imagine Garp, throwing punch after punch and each time producing the incredibly powerful shockwaves that shake the entire island that they're on. the destruction would be unfathomable. Another interesting option for Garp would be the unknown Dalmatian Zoan fruit, which is owned by Vice Admiral Dalmatian. There's two reasons for this. First is that since Garp relies on his physical strength in battles, any Zoan fruit would be a perfect choice as it would dramatically increase his strength and wouldn't slow him down in any way. The second reason is that since the show's beginning, Garp was always accompanied by the symbol of a dog, usually on his mask, ship, or shirt. Although it would be really cool to see Garp use a dog-themed fruit, at the end of the day, Gura Gura no Mi is obviously the best choice when it comes to strength. Before we explain which devil fruit would be the most suited for Dark King Rayleigh, let's first quickly cover Ben Beckman. Ben is one of the most respected men on the seas, and the second in command of the red-haired pirates. As with other crew members, he has no devil fruit, but it was confirmed that he's very skilled in using Haki. So much so that he can even infuse bullets with it. Now, since we know very little about Ben and his specific abilities, it was really hard to find the right fruit for him. But after some research, I think I finally found it, and I'm sure you weren't expecting this one. So, in my opinion, the best fruit for Ben Beckman is Foxy's fruit, Noro Noro no Mi. Okay, I know you're a bit confused, but hear me out. This devil fruit essentially allows its users to slow down every object they touch for 30 seconds. With that in mind, Ben could use this ability to slow down any attack that comes his way and maybe even opponents themselves. If we combine this ability with his Haki-infused bullets, Ben should, in theory, be able to shoot any opponent effortlessly, and since they're slowed, they wouldn't have a way to dodge it. It's also important to mention that due to Ben's experience, he would surely use the fruit much better than Foxy did, and could even develop some unique abilities like slowing down multiple enemies at the same time, or creating some sort of barrier around him so everyone who comes close gets slowed down. Silver's Rayleigh. Rayleigh, or as he's more commonly known, the Dark King, was the vice captain of the legendary Pirate King's crew and one of the strongest characters in the entire series. Like many other big shots on this list, he doesn't need a devil fruit. But there's actually one I'd really like to see him use, Blackbeard's fruit, the Yummy Yummy no Mi. I mean, first of all, he's literally the Dark King, so just imagine how cool it would be if he also possessed a Darkness Devil Fruit to go with that. Secondly, as we already mentioned in Shank's segment, this Logia Devil Fruit is probably the strongest one as it nullifies other fruits and can serve as a vortex to drag things into it. Although Rayleigh is a master of Haki, he still struggled against Admiral Kizaru during the Sabaody arc, and if the battle was prolonged, he would probably have lost. Therefore, having this Devil Fruit to even the playing field and disable other people's abilities would be incredibly beneficial to him, as he could go toe-to-toe with any enemy. To be honest, I feel like pretty much any Logia-type fruit would make Rayleigh insanely strong, but I just couldn't miss out on the opportunity to give him the Dark one. Click on this video where we explained what would happen if all Straw Hats attacked Gear 5 Luffy together.